No, but Jake's an okay guy. I mean, he's putting boxing on the map. To be fair to him, to be fair to the guy, he can sell tickets.
Yes.
And it's amazing what we were talking earlier about sales.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody, and this is with all due respect, nobody should give a shit about watching a 60-year-old fight a 27-year-old. But Jake can make them care.
First, let's recap what went down in the fight. Jake Paul, the 27-year-old YouTuber turned boxer, took on 58-year-old Mike Tyson in a match that was as hyped as it was controversial. Hosted at AT&T Stadium and streamed globally through Netflix, this fight drew millions of viewers. From the opening bell, it was clear Tyson wasn't the same fighter he was in his prime. While he showed flashes of his iconic power, the age gap between him and Jake Paul was undeniable. Jake utilized his youth, stamina, and strategy to outpace Tyson, ultimately winning by unanimous decision. But the victory wasn't without criticism. Many argued that Tyson's performance reflected his age and declining physical condition rather than Jake Paul's skill.
Champion, are you still that guy? Are you a different fighter, or do you still imagine you are what you were?
Well, no, I know I never lied to myself, but I know I'm good enough.
Andrew Tate, known for his polarizing views and brutal honesty, weighed in on the fight during a recent interview.
I think Jake Paul, he beat like a 60-year-old Mike Tyson.
He did, yes.
I think he's going to beat Biden next. But let's say he would call you to fight. Would you take it?
Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an all right guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens in the future. We'll see. Perhaps. Maybe. It's possible. Yeah. There's nothing's yes. We'll see. I'll escape this Matrix attack, and perhaps if he needs to be taught a lesson, I'll be the guy to teach him a lesson.
Tate didn't mince words, saying, Jake Paul beat a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. I think he's going to fight Biden next. This sarcastic jab reflects Tate's broader concerns about the direction boxing is heading. He questioned the ethics of putting a legend like Tyson well past his prime against a younger, more energetic opponent. Tate's reaction highlights a growing debate. Is influencer boxing bringing new life to the sport, or is it exploiting aging athletes for entertainment? Tate also mentioned that he had once been in talks to fight Jake Paul himself, saying, if this arrest didn't happen, it probably would have come to fruition.
You know what we should do, Jake? While you're next training, I know you're only 18 days away from a fight, but next time you're training and you want some sparring, fly to Romania and we'll spar and we'll film it and we'll decide if we want to release it or not afterwards. But I have no problem. We can have a sparring match anytime. That's easy, right?
Let's do it, guys. I'm down for that, but we can't release it for free. That's like, it's like giving the people what they want for nothing. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I would love to. I'll spar too for you with you guys. Fuck, Jake. Let's just go to Romania. We'll go 50-50 on the jet. We'll go to Romania, Jake, and I'll spar. We could do a threesome spar. I'm with it.
Why do you make everything sound weird?
This revelation has fans buzzing about a potential Tate versus Paul matchup in the future. Tate's critique raises an important question. Was it ethical to put Mike Tyson in the ring against Jake Paul? At 58 years old, Tyson's physical capabilities are a shadow of what they once were. Despite his legendary status, age and health are factors that can't be ignored.
Would you fight Mike Tyson?
Again, no, because he's now old. And I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair, you know? Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match. I'm not a boxer, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps if I was a boxer and I was heavier, maybe I can make up a bunch of stories. But the truth is I'm a kickboxer and it's his rule set and he was Mike Tyson. He would have beaten me, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me to fight.
Critics argue that fights like this prioritize spectacle over competition, putting older athletes at risk. While Tyson willingly stepped into the ring, many fans felt uneasy watching him struggle against a much younger opponent.
All right, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul was by its nature a horrible fight right from the start. It was just awful. Mike almost fell down during his walkout.
As Tate pointed out, it's not about skill, it's about exploiting the nostalgia of seeing Tyson in the ring. Andrew Tate's comments also touch on the rise of influencer boxing, a trend that has taken the combat sports world by storm. Fighters like Jake Paul and Logan Paul have brought new audiences to boxing. but not without controversy. On one hand, influencer boxing has injected fresh energy into the sport, drawing millions of younger fans who might not have watched traditional boxing. On the other hand, purists like Tate argue that it undermines the sport's integrity. Fights like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson blur the line between competition and entertainment, raising questions about whether these events are good for boxing in the long run. Perhaps the most exciting part of Tate's interview was his revelation that a fight with Jake Paul had been discussed in the past.
Okay, 2 brothers, 1 cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
Don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know.
Tate hinted that if not for his recent legal issues, the fight might have already happened. So what would a Tate versus Paul matchup look like? Tate, with his extensive kickboxing experience and natural athleticism, would bring a level of combat skill that Jake Paul has yet to face. However, Jake has proven himself as a dedicated boxer, consistently improving with each fight. This clash of styles and personalities could make for one of the most electrifying events in combat sports. As always, the internet had a lot to say. Fans took to social media to voice their opinions, with some supporting Tate's critique and others defending Jake Paul's achievements. One fan wrote, "Andrew Tate is right, boxing is becoming a circus," while another countered, "Jake Paul is bringing more attention to boxing than anyone else right now." This divide reflects the broader debate about influencer boxing and its impact on the sport.
Imagine like a main event, like Hasbullah on one side, you and Jake on the other. It's a tag team match.
Tag team, me and Hasbullah against Logan and Jake.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's about fair.
Oh, yeah.
No, but Jake's an okay guy. I mean, he's putting boxing on the map. To be fair to him, to be fair to the guy, he can sell tickets.
Yes.
And it's amazing what we were talking earlier about sales.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody, and this is with all due respect, nobody should give a shit about watching a 60-year-old fight a 27-year-old. But Jake can make them care.
Yeah.
And because he can make them care, he gets paid more than most boxers will ever make in their entire careers for one fight.
Good for him.
Which shows the sales potential he has.
Yeah.
And everything in life is sales, which is why the things that you teach and the things we teach in the real world are so important, because we're moving away from the era of it's what you do as opposed to it's who you are.
Yeah.
Like lots of people can sit and talk on a microphone, but when we do it, it matters. When most people do it, it doesn't. It's not what you do anymore. It's who's doing it.
While some see it as a necessary evolution, others worry it's steering boxing away from its roots. Tate's reaction and the fallout from Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson highlight a critical moment for boxing. The sport is at a crossroads, balancing its traditional roots with the growing influence of entertainment-driven events. For figures like Andrew Tate, the challenge is finding a way to bring authenticity back to the sport while acknowledging the role that influencers like Jake Paul play in attracting new fans. Whether this means stricter matchmaking, better oversight, or a renewed focus on skill, one thing is clear. The future of boxing will look very different from its past.